I've been thinking, I can't run this club forever. I built this for nothing. This is our family.
Bikeriders is a narrative film inspired by a book of photographs from the mid-1960s by Danny Lyon. He chronicled a Midwestern motorcycle club really in its early days. It was just photographs of the bike riders and their wives, and then there were just interviews, was really the only text. And when you combine those interviews with the photographs, you get this really beautiful portrait of a subculture.
Want to show a little class, contribute to the party?
Help yourself.
It actually felt like the perfect ingredients for a film. And I think there's a lot to find in this film if you're not of the biker world.
We're the bad though.
You really come to an understanding of why these people operate the way they do. They were trying to figure out who they were. They were trying to figure out why they felt like they didn't belong in mainstream society, why they felt like they belonged together.
Well, so what are we doing here? Just shooting the breeze?
So you end up getting a pretty good picture of the psychology behind these subcultures.
Then I saw you squaring off with them guys. What do I need to think for?
Because of that, you do actually find some human connection with these characters by the end of the film.
Yeah, you and me, kid. You and me.
And action!
You know, they're films like Goodfellas. They're these films that anytime they show up on TV, you turn them on, you can drop right in the middle of them, and you just feel immersed in that world. I wanted to make that kind of film. This film was really about capturing the feeling of this world so that you could literally dip yourself back into the 1960s, into this motorcycle culture in the Midwest. This is about a group that didn't start with a specific reason to become a gang. They started because they were friends. They started because they all loved bikes. And it wasn't until the pressure of this decade and the pressure of the growth of this club that it started to turn into something more malevolent.
The club got real big real fast. They started running drugs, gambling, prostitution.
Is that what this club is now?
We were inspired by these really beautiful images recorded in a documentary fashion in the 1960s. We, of course, had to recreate that depth. We had to make all of those clothes, age all of those clothes, make all of those patches, build all of those sets, so that when you watch it, you feel like you've just been taken back to the 1960s. The level of artistry and the level of work that it took to pull off the depth in these images, I couldn't be more proud of. The first person I cast was Austin Butler. It was before Elvis had come out. And when I met him in person in LA for the first time, it was quite undeniable that he was one of the most charismatic, beautiful people I'd ever seen. And then you have Tom Hardy, who's one of our greatest actors working. This film is narrated by a woman named Kathy, who was a woman recorded in the book, who was married to one of the bike riders. I cast Jodie Comer in a performance that I think is jaw-dropping. She fully inhabits this Midwestern accent and persona, and really, I think, brings the heart to this film and this character. By putting a woman at the center of this hyper-masculine world,
I don't want you riding.
we really start to understand really the crux of the film, which is this tension in masculinity. There's a lot of toxicity to it, but there's also a lot of beauty to it. And I think her character represents really kind of the pull of these two things.
Well, I gotta go home.
If you lay your money down and come to this film, you're gonna get cursing, you're gonna get violence. It's a biker film. You're gonna get what you paid for.
Told you to take that jacket off.
You'd have to kill me to get this jacket off.
But hopefully you also get some understanding of really what makes these people tick, really what makes this subculture unique for this period in time and this period in America. We don't go to movies to see our own world and reaffirm things we see out the window. We go to cinema to connect with other parts of humanity. And I think the Bikeriders makes a good attempt at that. When you walk away, I want you to walk away with a feeling of nostalgia, which is a sad feeling, but it's also a really beautiful feeling. The idea that there was this very unique thing at a very unique period in time in a very unique place that is now gone forever.